home in the church that I grew up in. I was surrounded by people that held the Word of God in high regard. I was discipled by my family, many different men and women who invested and poured into me. I am eternally grateful. I will confess, though, there was a layer or component to my church background going up that created a little bit of confusion because it was a little more centered on performance or law, if you would, versus grace. It was rather a kind of a fundamental, independent, very strict, rigid, rules-based environment. And again, so grateful, loving, lots of dear friends. I'm not here in any way to speak with judgment. I'm just simply trying to create awareness that it did create a little confusion for me because it resulted in a little bit of kind of guilt or fear-based response rather than grace-filled response. And that brings to my mind what we looked at this past week. I loved the sermon this past week and the opportunity for us to dive together into Exodus 19, 1 through 6. If you missed it, go back and check out the whole sermon because there were some really cool ideas. But specifically in verse 4, it brought a reminder as we look back in the past at what God had done. And because of his faithfulness, because of his provision, because of his grace, now he was able, not that he was able, now the people were better able to receive laws and commands. And the principle that we looked at that was grace precedes law, or grace comes before rules. There is no doubt in our mind an opportunity to pay attention to what we do and what we say and the commands of God. This is a great reminder for us to be aware of an order in which we don't perform so that we can earn God's favor. We walk with grace out of his mercy, and then we perform in a response to his faithfulness and goodness. And it's very easy to kind of get our focus out of alignment because let's just be honest, we're oftentimes, sometimes because of our personality, we're kind of task driven and we like to see, just tell me what to do. And that's a path that could drift us down a line of religiosity, performance, rules-based faith that could have dynamics of guilt and rigid, and it's not healthy, and it leads us toward a path away from the purity of the gospel. And so I want to just draw your attention to that for you to be sensitive to that order. We recognize the beauty of grace first, the faithfulness of God first, the provision and the goodness of God first, and out of his mercy and in response to his grace and love, then we live and move and have our being. And so I think there's a beautiful order that we see in Exodus 19, 1 through 6, that also is reinforced in the New Testament, especially in letters from Paul. Galatians will be a great example. There's a lot of emphasis around this tension of legalism that found itself inside the early church and the freedom that Paul was trying to help them see. And so there's a lot to unpack there, but it's just an idea that I felt compelled to encourage you with this morning. And it may be something that you want to dig into deeper. It may be something that you want to reach out and ask questions. Perhaps you found yourself in that trap of performance or legalism or rules-based religion. And there's a call to grace. And I want you to see and experience that freedom that comes out of that and the desire to obey God and do what he says in response to his grace. So if that's something that you've struggled with or that's something that you have questions about, don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to come alongside with you. Trust me, I get it. I've lived there and walked that path. And I want you to also understand the beauty of the freedom that you can walk within because of what God has done. So check it out. Also, don't hesitate to reach out if we can serve you in any way. And until next time, God bless.